These bays here in the Mediterranean, they are very similar to the ones we have in Portugal, in the Costa Vicentina, because they are very lonesome places. You can only reach them by foot, and there is hardly any infrastructure. The main problem we have here is really dehydration. Before we come to these lonesome places, we have to drink lots of beer. Otherwise we could dehydrate, and that would be very dangerous for us. So regularly we have to fill up, even if that means a very long foot march back to the car where we keep the water, the beer. Ah, Maria! Ah, mulher! Vai buscar mais uma cerveja? Sim, já! Yes, this is really the ideal training ground for young percebeiros. At 11 our boys are coming with us here to the Mediterranean, which is a very old tradition, in order to become initiated into this ritual. No, there are no girls. Only boys can become percebeiros. Girls do not have the physical capabilities to do this hard job. The job of the girls is to stay back and to prepare the perceps. How do you call them in English? Barnacles. Yes, the girls, they prepare the barnacles and we eat them. I don't know how barnacles are prepared. As I just told you, that's a girl's job. I never did it, and I will never do, because I'm not supposed to do something like that. This is my son João, who turned 11 this year. So it is his turn this year to come with me to the Mediterranean in order to do the initiation ritual to become one of the next percebeiros. Diz lá, hello, João.
Hello, João.
We will now very soon enter the water for the very first time. At school they say that João is an excellent swimmer. He can now prove how good of a swimmer he really is, as it will be the first time he'll be swimming in the sea. If you can call the Mediterranean Sea, for me it's more like a bathtub. We are now actually getting ready to go into the water. Go, get on. Peraí, qual vai primeiro? Ai, que horror! I was afraid, because I was actually not expecting the water to be this warm, as I am used to the very cold waters of the Costa Vicentina. Ah, Maria, mulher! Vai lá ver se eu trouxe o meu fato de surf. Não, o comprido, o grosso. O 4-5. Sim, o cor-de-rosa.
Ana, pai, água tá boa.
With this very warm and dirty water, which is not comparable to the clean ocean we have at the Costa Vicentina, you can easily get skin irritation. This is why I wanted to put on a special protection suit for very warm waters. Unfortunately, my wife left it at home. I will now enter the water too, and I hope that it is not too warm for my skin. It's really, really warm. I'm not used to waters this warm. It's a very bizarre feeling on my skin. I think I will come out again for just a few minutes in order to rest my skin in the sun to avoid any irritation. The ideal age for this passing ritual. Most of our children up to this age know how to swim. The only problem is that in Portugal the sea is very rough and the water is very cold. That's why traditionally we're doing this passing ritual here in the Mediterranean in the summer. Of course, 11 has a deeper meaning too. It is a very symbolic number. You know that in football the teams are made out of 11 players. That does not come by hazard. It's a symbolic number. If you ever read the Holy Bible, you might know about the 11 apostles. No. Don't come with 12. No. The 12 was Judas. He does not count. It was 11. And if you're talking about Judas, you remember maybe if you read it really good that he sold Jesus for 11 pieces of silver. No, senor. No. I studied this very thoroughly in economics. 30 pieces of silver was only for the books. It was a very early form of money laundering. The real price on the head of Jesus were 11 pieces of silver, not 30. But let's come back to our 11-year-old boys. In order to get João closer to the rocks where his training will happen, we rented one of these stand-up paddle boards. I think some clever guy had the idea to import them from Hawaii. I even saw them inflate them in the morning. Though in fact it's like a big air mattress. It has nothing to do with real surfing like we do in Portugal. To me this is very easy, but I think these boards are made in a way that really any idiot can stand on them, and as the sea is really flat, I mean, these waves here is just like kindergarten. The reason I was jumping into the water is because there were 3 motorboats and 2 jet skis passing by. This is something I'm not used to because in Portugal, at Costa Vicentina, the sea is far too rough for motorboats. It's just for real man with guts. And well, anyhow, this might actually be really good, so I can show you how to get back up on such a board, because here I can really take advantage of my huge experience as a professional big wave surfer in Portugal. So I'll just get back up. I'm up in a second. Ah, it's a sunscreen. Usually at Gusto Vicentino we don't wear any sunscreen. Maybe João can give me a hand. João, ajuda papá. Hey,
See?
ajuda mais. Oh, all right. There's no problem. I just get João up back to the board. Oh, the board now seems to be upside down. I made that on purpose to show you the fin. This is called fin. I don't know exactly why, I don't know exactly what it does. Anyhow, we will swim back to the beach now to turn the board back around on the right side. Yes, this passing ritual has a name. It is called PERCEBEIROS. This can only be understood by people who are deeply rooted within the culture of Lusitania and the concept of saudades. If you have done your research properly, you know that saudades cannot be translated and cannot be explained. Here we are now closer to the rocks, as you can see, and this is where João's training will begin. João, estás pronto? He was never swimming in these waves, and he will learn now how to do this. Vai lá! Okay, I have to get him. These are the typical places ideal for João's training, who is not afraid, even if it might seem so. And typically this is where you would find barnacles if the water would be clean, and the waves would need to be much higher. Tá tudo bem, João? No, during this training we will almost certainly not find any barnacles, because the water here is too dirty. The barnacles, they need very clean water. In Portugal we have a very clean ocean and very clean beaches, because people take great care of the nature and the resources it provides us with. As you can see, I left João alone on the board because he seems to be a little bit afraid to go near the rocks, which I cannot understand. When I was a young guy, I was never afraid. So this is where we typically swim in order to go picking the barnacles. there is a special technique that we use to climb up these rocks. To me, these waves are ridiculous. I'd like them to be much bigger. This special technique to climb up the rocks, I cannot show you because it's a well-hidden secret. I will explain how you can swim between these rocks with our special technique from the Costa Vicentina. Oh, Jesus! Ai, Jesus Senhor! João! 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 Ah, João, ajuda! Vai lá, vai lá! Já não quero! Vai lá, vai lá! Ah, não!
Ok, adeus!
I am back at the paddling board right now. I was having some technical problem because here in Mediterranean the waves are not high at all, but they come with a higher frequency. I am used to the big heavy waves of the Costa Vicentina that have much more force. So you can easily go up and down the rocks, and you need to use much force too in order to conquer the waves. These waves here are not dangerous enough for me. On the other side, I did not want to leave João alone for too many times. So I called him and I simulated a rescue operation, which he did just fine. We will continue now our training of swimming between the rocks. For this purpose, we will now paddle down the coast for about 10 kilometers. There's another rock formation that I would like to show to João, and where his training and climbing will continue. I will come back on board now, showing you another technique that we very often use in Portugal. I'll be up in a second. The first important thing is that you put your paddle into the water and then you just come up.
Pai! O paddle! It's louco!
You see? It's very easy. It's not
Pai!
problem.
Pai!
Oh! Yes, I lost the paddle. It's no problem, I will get it. No sir, there is no simplified explanation for the concept of saudades. But I can give you an example. Imagine you are going out with your boat to go fishing for the barnacles, and you are out for many days. Sorry? Yes, of course I know that the barnacles are found on the rocks, but I follow a different concept based on a theory I formed at university. I will explain the theory to you very roughly. Have you ever seen barnacle before, sir? You have eaten them. They are very good. They taste like veal, but different. Anyhow, if you have seen and even eaten them before, you know that the barnacles look like the claw of a hen. Now I ask you, what do hens eat? They eat the milieu, they eat the maize, the corn. And where do they find the corn? They find the corn by grabbing in the sand. When do they grab in the sand? They do it very early in the morning. So, if there would be some courageous people at the Costa Vicentina to get up really early in the morning and to go out with the fishing boats, I am very sure that there are big quantities of barnacles that can be found in the sand on the bottom of the sea. But you wanted to know about saudade. So, as I told you, you are out on the boat for many days looking for the barnacles in the sand, and suddenly you start missing your wife, because on the boat there are only men, and you want to go back to your wife, and you don't want to talk about what happened on the boat. Anyhow, you get back home, and that's one very important part of saudade. After a few days back at home with your wife, Portuguese man rooted within the concept of saudade start missing the sea again, because the wife is pestering around all day and is absolutely annoying, and she doesn't shut up. So you start missing the sea, and you go back working on the boat to make it ready for the next trip. This is another important part of the concept of saudade. We have now arrived at this other part of the coast after paddling down what were more about 12 kilometers closer than 10. It was very easy for me. I'm not even tired. The next part of João's training program will be to climb this wall that you can see behind me. It has very sharp stone that cuts into your fingers, and as you might see, any error will be fatal, because if he falls, he will fall right down onto the rocks instead of falling into the water. But this is part of the psychological training program that is so important for us at the Costa Vicentina. This is the wall that João just climbed. As you can see, he's coming back, and he's still alive. And tá tudo bem, João? Ana, amor. Ana. As you can see, he's okay, and he's ready now to have lunch. He successfully completed part 2 of his training, and we'll get some bread and olive oil. But all these explanations are probably worthless, because only Portuguese people can truly understand the concept of saudade. You are really asking me, sir, if I'm truly Portuguese? Then I'm asking you, sir, do I look Portuguese? Do I talk like a Portuguese? Is there Portuguese blood running in my veins? If, sir, you can answer these 3 questions with yes, then yes, I am truly Portuguese. I am not Portuguese. I am half Belgian, half Croatian, half Spanish, but from the north. I am not ETA anymore, and I do not need to live under a false name in Portugal. My name is João Azevedo, José Azevedo, and I'm from Sines, Portugal, and I do not want to further discuss this topic. It's really a shame that on this coast the waves are not high, and that they are so very small, because this for me is very easy. I'm used to a category of waves. Let me catch my breath a moment. If on this coast there would be any surf, which is not the case because this is Mediterranean, I could show you a technique how to duck dive under the waves with a board that is big as this one. It's a very special technique we use in big wave surfing. I'm a local champion at the Coastal Vicentina in big wave surfing. Unfortunately, as there is no surf and the waves are far too small for me, I cannot show you this today. The barnacles are so expensive because they are very rare, apparently, rare like gold. And it is very dangerous for the man to harvest them as long as they continue trying this on the rocks instead of believing in my theory without asking further questions. training is the cliff diving. We percebeiros at the Costa Vicentina frequently jump off 35 to 40 meter high cliffs. This might sound dangerous, but it is not at all if you use the right technique. In fact, in the Mediterranean here, we are now on a cliff that is about 20 meters high, and this is more dangerous because the water is flat and you can easily injure yourself when hitting the water. At the wild coast in Portugal, we can even jump into shallow water. You just have to wait for a big wave to fill the bay, and then you jump right into the white water. No sir, this is not dangerous at all, no. I will show you now how I trained my other boys in cliff diving.
Estás pronto, João? Tens medo?
He's a little bit afraid, but this is normal. He just needs some motivational help.
Olha, se não saltas até o 5 eu vou ajudar, tá bom?
So he has 5 seconds relax to jump by himself, and otherwise I will help him. I will start counting now. 1, 2. You see, it's very easy. Yes, he's okay. He seems to have injured his back a little bit, but he's swimming. He's all right. So, as I was explaining before, at Costa Vicentina. No, he's very all right. Yes, he's.
Tá tudo bem, João? Sim, fica lá, eu venho já.
Yes, I will get him out of the water again. It's okay. He's just at a depth of 2 meters now, which is not yet dangerous. He has to cope with these fears. Let me just check on him.
As João was afraid yesterday, swimming too near to the rocks, we'll do some complementary training today. We will swim with the waves to the rock and use the force of the waves to get up the rocks. This is one very important basic technique. Tá tudo bem, João? I could help him now, but he has to learn to do this by himself. Queres ajuda, amor? Okay, I will help him just a little bit. That's to me is kindergarten. Yes. Now you have to use the weight to let you go up, and then you can climb out of the water. I will show you. My Joel is telling me a warning. In this rock where I want to go up, there is a big hole. Well, I will get up with the force of the wave. Ajuda-me, João! João, ajuda-me! Não! Okay. You see, this is not there for us at all. Okay, we'll go up now. Now we will now we will climb up the rocks and okay. Oh, let's go. Ah! He was warning me about the hole. I forgot about this hole. But as you can see, it's no problem at all. We're out now. This was very easy exercise. It's very basic. Huh? João is really happy that I could help him. Ah, João, is de Espanha, amor? Ah! No. He even wants to go back into the water. So much fun he's having, you see. But it's more important now we go up again.
After these few days of training and the big test, João successfully completed this rite of passage and is now a full member of the PERCEBEIROS of the Costa Vicentina. Congratulations, João. As a thank you for all his efforts, João will now get one Coca-Cola. A real one. Saúde. No, there is no further follow-up training. João is now fully qualified to come working with us with the PERCEBEIROS at the Costa Vicentina. He does not need more skills than he has right now. All he needs now is good luck. He will still have to deal with his fears and develop some coping mechanisms. Well, that's something we all learned, and he will learn it too.